let's look this thing over and talk about it. One of the first things I noticed about the truck was that the hood latch is right here. And I noticed the mud flap is right here behind the fender. Normally they're hanging right here under the hood. And then I noticed this air tank mounted back here. That's usually in behind the battery box, between the battery box and the fuel step. And then of course you notice it's got the fairings here and the exhaust is mounted on the side instead of being, right in here along the side of the cab. He's told me the truck's a 78, so it's got the square headlights and the square bezels, so that's not really original. Not that there's anything wrong with that to me. You guys check out these sweet snow shields over the air horns. Those are pretty cool. I was wondering if that bumper's original or not. I don't know. It looks kind of like someone built it, but you never know. And then it's got the little cab marker lights on there. I think the mirrors have been changed. They stick out a lot farther than on mine. Usually there's like a little step right here, and the fuel tank will be back here a little farther, and that air tank will be right back in here. But, so yeah, these are all things that I noticed right off the bat that were different. And then here we've got a picture with the hood open. And this is where I really started to spaz out, because if you look right in here, see this big gap, this big opening. Well, that's not really normal. That's something like a Paystar cab would have. And that would explain why it's got these different mud flaps here, because there should be a mud flap bracket hanging right there. And I'm going to guess, since it's got the Paystar cab, there's no room to mount one there. So they had to put these guys on there. These Paystar cabs, they're something I've heard of that were built this way, but I've never seen one. This is the first one I've ever seen that I've been able to tell. I really thought you'd be able to see some kind of a seam here on the cab, but from the pictures anyways, I can't see anything. And this would also explain the hood mounts, hood latches being right there, because like on my truck, they would mount to that bracket for the mud flap that comes here. And here's the passenger side. You can see the gap again over here. I don't know. It's interesting to note how the downpipe goes outside the frame rail there. But you can see there's absolutely no room for it to go anywhere else. And man, it really looks like that engine sticks way into that doghouse. And just to note, this is the 120 BBC extended hood. It's kind of interesting that it's still got the windshield washer reservoir on there. A lot of them, that's gone. Mounted right onto the lube refiner. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about this side. Like I said, I'm not real good with Paystars, but I'm guessing the Paystar cab is the reason the exhaust is all mounted back here. But I want to say Paystars usually have one stack on the passenger side. So I don't know why the exhaust is like this, other than, I don't know, a lot of Paystars you don't see with dual exhaust. So that might be why that's like that. I kind of wonder if the exhaust runs all the way back behind this fuel tank, like it's not up in the frame rails. But yeah. Here's a picture of the rear ends. I don't know, you can't tell much. Some of them have IH stamped into the back of them right here. This one, you can see, does not. I see a temperature probe in there, so I'm guessing these are probably the original rear ends. Looks like it's 4-spring. I don't know if that's like Rayco or IH. suspension, but get a look inside the cab here. This interior is beautiful. I'm guessing that's not factory. And talking about the Paystar cab, you can see the floor right here. It's kind of angled up. It matches the the angle that we saw on the outside of the truck. And the doghouse here looks different than standard, which also makes you believe it's a Paystar cab. It looks like it's almost flush with the dash right there, the bottom of the dash. And then this cover piece on the end doesn't stick out as far as you'd see in like a regular 4300 cab. I notice it's even painted up here, painted black. Some people have pointed out it's got the wood grain dash. That's like an Eagle owner-operator deal. Of course, we don't see the Eagle badges on this thing, but I don't know. Everything else in the cab looks pretty standard. You can see your heat or air conditioner controls there. Got a fan mounted up there. Like I said, this is all painted black. That's unusual. Somebody probably painted that. But otherwise, it looks pretty standard in there. As far as I can tell, those look like they're still aluminum buds back here. For a little while, I wondered if that little panel back there was maybe covering up a sleeper, where it had the opening that came down like that. But I think they come down lower than that panel is. So I don't know. But what do you guys think of this thing? What stuff have you noticed?